All right, here's our next letter. So this letter is pronounced like the English L.
L.
So what kind of place is this? It's a salad bar.
Салат. Бар.
Now, Russians often write the letter more simply, like this. Basically a triangle without the base.
Л.
You see it here?
Салат бар.
And what does this say?
Салон.
It's a salon, which in Russian can be like a hair salon, but more often it's like a showroom. And see, here's the simpler version of the L in that word.
Салон.
Here's kind of a long word. Can you read it?
Макдоналдс.
And here's a good Russian word to know. Stress is on the final O.
Молоко.
It's milk. And we see both versions of our L in there.
Молоко.
All right, let's go to the next letter. For this one, I'm hoping you have just a little bit of Russian under your belt already. Let's see. So the opposite of da is нет.
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 So this letter here is pronounced
Е.
but only when it gets the stress. Otherwise, it's usually reduced to an I sound. I'll point it out as we progress. Quick review. Can you trace with your finger the two versions of the Russian L that we learned? This is the official one. And this is the shorthand one that you'll see a lot. And this letter, how is it pronounced?
Е.
And here's its lowercase version. Good, so let's look at some more Russian words. Tell me, what is this book about?
Балет.
We say ballet, and in Russian it's
Балет.
the stress there was on our new letter. Same in this word.
Ксерокс.
We say Xerox, meaning photocopies, and in Russian it's
Ксерокс.
in this next one, a sign that you'll see on every street in Russia, the stress goes on the ah.
Ресторан.
We say restaurant, and in Russian it's
Ресторан.
Notice that, spoken quickly, the unstressed yeah sound is hard to pick out. It's basically an I sound.
Ресторан.
Let's try one more.
Котлета.
I know it sounds like cutlet, but it's actually a kind of meatball made with ground pork, onion, and crumbled up bread. What my Danish relatives call a frikadelle. Here's a restaurant by the same name.
Котлета.
You hanging in there? Then let's move on. Here is our next new letter. So this letter is pronounced E.
И.
Can you figure out what kind of food this is?
Рис.
That's how Russians say rice. And what might this be?
Такси.
It's a taxi.
Такси.
And what kind of place do you think this is? Stress the O here.
Стадион.
Is a stadium.
Стадион.
And what kind of place are these guys advertising? Stress goes here.
Дискотека.
That's a discotheque. And the name of this place? Again, stress goes here.
Библиотека.
Any guess what you might find inside that place? It's a library. And there's a nice connection there between the word bibliography and biblioteca.
Библиотека.
Anyway, here's an important point. In Russian, an E sound is used to make nouns plural, at least in certain situations. It's kind of like adding an S to the end of an English word. Right? Car becomes cars, plural. So, for example, read this word.
Батарейка.
That's a battery. But if we have more than one,
Батарейки.
hear that E sound at the end? The sign is asking for batteries, plural.
Батарейки.
And do you recall the Russian word for juice? Remember our phrase for that. The waitress spilled juice on me and I got soaked.
Сок.
Well, here's the plural. Juices.
Соки.
One last new letter for this lesson, and it's related to the one we just did. This might take 2 examples, I think, to hone in on the pronunciation. Let's give it a try. Or this example. So this letter, called a short E or E kratki,
И краткий.
functions very much like the English letter Y. Right? Yogurt,
Йогурт.
joy,
Джой.
So, using these letters, how would you sound out BB, like a BB gun? How about boy? How about the name Kira? All right, back to some more signs. Can you figure out what this business does?
Онлайн трейд.
Online trade. That's kind of cool, isn't it? I mean, before you started this course, wouldn't that word have seemed impossible to ever make sense of? And yet here you are, reading and understanding it. All right, enough patting ourselves on the back. Let's look at 2 very common words with this short E.
Мой. Твой.
For example, can you read this?
Мой банк.
I wonder what that might mean. Or this.
Мой дом.
Well,
Мой.
translates as my. So we have my bank.
Мой банк.
And this store is called my home or my house.
Мой дом.
Now, if мой дом translates as my house, take a guess on what this might mean.
Твой дом.
Твой.
Translates as your. So we have a store called Your Home.
Твой дом.
All right, take a break and I'll see you in lesson 4.